Hello everyone, I thought I'd just do a quick dev diary of my Inspector Gadget game, Metrocity M.A.Dness, which uses Metrocity as its base for the story and all the missions that you'll have to complete throughout the game. As you can see, it's not quite finished yet. I say not quite, there's still a lot that needs to be done. Entire port area needs finishing. The park area needs finishing and the neighbourhood area needs doing. This is a game I've been working on and off for years and years and years. I'm finally getting on with it now. Anyone who's played the recent M.A.D Time Party game will notice that the layout of the city is pretty much the same. I found this to help get going with the project. I don't know if there's any sort of trouble for using the same sort of map design, but I've made all of the buildings myself. All of the textures are different, and there are various differences between my map and the original one, including buildings that will be accessible to the player, which will be necessary to go in to get through the various objectives and missions of the game, including banks, general stores, and anything that might be of interest to M.A.D agents to plunder. If we go up into the sky, you can see just how much work I've put into it so far. The main city area is complete, and I think I've shown that off in a previous video. Got the park over there and the neighbourhood area over here, which, as you can see, hasn't even been started yet apart from the roads and road markings. Gadget's farm will also be added in as part of a mission. And so this has been something I've been working on for years, and I've finally managed to start getting a good bit of traction on getting the world done. There's a few wobbly bits that need to be sorted out. I'm not sure what's wrong with the sidewalks, but they'll get sorted out eventually. And there will be cars roaming about, people. I'm hoping to have a few different character models for passers-by in M.A.D. I'm going to hopefully get all of the M.A.D agents in, or all the ones from the original series. In the game there will be a number of original cases from the series which have been reworked to suit the story, but to progress in the main narrative you'll have to do a certain amount of side quests, which is solving mad crimes, finding lost items, returning things, possibly. I haven't started on the inventory system yet, but that'll hopefully be a part of it. As you can see, one of the big items in the game that I've done so far is the cruise ship from the episode The Boat, which has always been one of my favourites. That will be in the story. And you can also see this, which is a homage to the first proper 3D Inspector Gadget game, M.A.D Robots Invasion, which I've always liked. But again, it's been reworked to more suit my game and expand it greatly, hopefully. I've been working on this on my own, and I probably will keep working on it on my own for some time, just to make it so that it's what I want, it's my vision. As the old saying goes, a camel is a horse designed by committee. So for the time being I'm going to work on it on my own, keeping it to what I think I want. At some point I'll probably start asking for help, but at the minute I'm plodding along with it, getting what I want done, in between other things, including working on my Steam engine and obviously normal work-life ratio. This is the park, which the pathway needs a complete redo. It looks rubbish at the minute, but it'll hopefully once I start working on it properly, it was just to get it in the game as an asset. And as you can see here, we have a building which some Gadget fans will know, some might not, but it is going to be one of the main narrative parts of the story. Something nefarious to do with Dr. Claw will happen here. But yeah, this is the main city, all of which is done. As we were sort of wandering through the streets, there will be various sort of platforms that you can go up to get onto rooftops and things that will be added in. This is a health pickup which will eventually start working. In a previous iteration of the game, which was more of a complete Mad Robots Invasion remake, that did work. I haven't got it working in this game version yet. Some textures need sorting out. They'll probably be all completely redone once I get a bit further in. So the brown bricks, shouldn't have said that. They will be sort of made a bit lighter. And I haven't found a voice for Gadget yet. Well, someone offered, and I did message them, but they haven't got back yet. So it'll be interesting to see if I can get them to do the voice for Gadget, but there's obviously more voices to be found. I'd want to try and get as close to the original series as possible for the voices. So with that little walk around the city done, let's have a quick look at Gadget and see what he can do so far. Up in the top you've got his life HUD and his Gadget battery. Hopefully I'll be able to get that to disappear when it's not in use. It's there all the time at the minute. At the minute it's just linked to the Gadget copter. None of the mouth animations have been done yet, and they'll get done once the proper final voice edits are done. But he has various gadgets which can be used throughout the city. The skates will eventually have the rocket skates added to them as an unlockable level up. You can sneak around, which will be crucial in some story elements, and sneaking up on mad agents to knock them out. The Gadget mallet is the main weapon in the game. So for sort of knocking out mad agents, destroying various objects throughout the game. He is going to have his tennis racket for returning projectiles at some point. That I haven't got that modelled or animated yet, and something I'm quite pleased with is his magnifying glass, and as you come up on various clues they will appear and glow, which again will be crucial for progressing in various elements of the game. At the minute you can walk around the cruise ship. This is for a while I was making it. It's still not quite finished, but I'm very happy with the exterior model of it. But when you're actually doing the episode, it will be out at sea, and you'll have to solve the crimes, or solve the parts of the story that I can include in it. The pool at the minute is solid. That will be something that will be added in later. But you can walk around the entire exterior of the ship when it's in harbour. And again, with the water that's in the dock, you can't fall through it at the minute because I've still got to do that. It's all a learning curve, and I'm slowly making my way through learning what I need to do to get the game working as the actual player. There are various falling platforms which I'm I'm quite pleased with. They need a bit more tweaking just to get the model finished to how it needs to be at the final. As I say, none of the voices are the final yet, and they will be hopefully done at some point. Don't want to show off too much because it'll tell you how to do various things in the game, and I don't want to spoil that for if I ever do get to release it. The basic plan is to get a working demo of the game. I don't know how these things work in video game making, but the plan is to get a working demo of Gadget and all his gadgets. Most of his gadgets working, hopefully proper voices. And then take it to, I think it's DHX Media who own Inspector Gadget now. Was the last one I know was Cookie Jar. I think they got bought out. Yeah, this isn't the final model of Gadget either. I've recently started doing a bit more work on him to make him smooth. I'll show you that in a second. Just have a little bit of a wander through the city. There'll be a big story element in the museum, maybe even a couple. They'll have to sort through. But I'm hoping to have Macho Miguel as a villain, just because he's a bit ridiculous. There'll be a lot of areas that will be able to be gone into, such as I said, the banks. And some of the side missions you'll have to talk to passers-by to activate, or M.A.D. agents will just spring up on you to try and capture you to get rid of you for Dr. Claw. So yeah, the health pickup doesn't currently work. Yeah, hopefully at some point the Gadget Mobile might be accessible as a drivable vehicle, but at the minute it's just a static model that I wanted in the game. So with Metrocity looked at and Gadget, let's have a quick look at the work that I'm doing in Blender to try and improve the model, which for me it's quite good, but I can do better. And I'm slowly working. I've just finished his face. And before we come out of here, I did have, I think his name is Fred, one of the M.A.D. agents, one of the bulkier M.A.D. agents, working in a previous iteration of the game, but I haven't yet started trying to get him into this one. So yeah, with that, let's have a quick look at the Gadget model in Blender, so I can say what I'm working on him. So here we are in Blender. This is my current Gadget model, along with his new head. Because, as I said, there's various bits of it I wasn't happy with, and so I've slowly started working on renewing and improving it. Bring it up to rendered. As you can see, there's little bits that aren't very smooth in the old one, which I've managed to sort out on the new face. It looks much better. I did that yesterday. I'm quite happy with it. A few little tweaks to do, and his eyebrows aren't on the new one yet because they're not actually part of his head model. They're separate. They'll probably be joined on eventually. Obviously mean re-rigging it, which will be fun, but hopefully it'll improve the look inside the game. You can just see the little bits that aren't very smooth, whereas this one is quite nice and smooth. Right, a little bit on his neck to work on, but that's an easy fix. That was just so I could remap the new face and make the new one smoother. I quite like the way I've got his hair done for this model. It's one of the very few things I liked about the CGI reboot, how they did his hair, because on the Mad Time Party version they've just got his hair as two separate spikes coming out either side and nothing on top, which I don't like at all. But the main shape of his hair, I quite like that, so I've managed to work that into how I've done on mine, and just to prove he has got hair on top. That's how it might get a little bit of a tweak, but you're not going to see it in the game, so just a bit of how I wanted it. At the minute the trench coat is fine, but there are things that I can do to improve it. There's, as you might have seen during the video, there's bits that come out of his back from the storm patch, and because the new versions of the storm patches were a later edition, the texture doesn't quite line up, so I want to try and improve that, and I might even change the rig a little bit so that the collar and lapels can flap about when he's jumping and such. The hands also need a bit of a tune up because while they're fine, they're a bit basic and they could do with a bit of reworking. So yeah, that is my Inspector Gadget game at the minute. Obviously I've got the rest of the characters to do. I've got Professor von Slickstein modelled already. Chief Quimby, a very old model that I did for my intro project, is done, so that'll be sort of used as a base to completely rework for the project. I've got part of Penny, but not all of her, and I think I've got a model of Brain somewhere. That'll obviously have to be completely redone. And as I said, I'm going to have Gadget's farm, and Claw's castle is going to be in the game. That'll be sort of the final dungeon. Will you get to see his face? You'll have to wait and see. But I am planning to do his entire model rather than just his arm for the game. And there will be a few characters from Gadget and the Gadgetinis in it, namely General Sir and Colonel Nozel. Whether there'll be any of the office characters in the game, I don't know, but I suppose I'll have to be one or two that you'll have to rescue. The exterior of the building is pretty much done. There's a few more details to add to it. And it will be a dungeon. Originally it was going to be sort of an entirely open world where you didn't have to load up or anything. But I think it's going to be better to have the building as, or all the dungeons as sort of separate items with, or separate locations with different load screens. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, and as we're in winter, I doubt I'll be in the shed nearly as much on working on my engine, but I do have a potbelly stove in there now, so I have to wait and see what progress is made. There are various bugs on Gadget to be sorted out, but I'm learning Unreal Engine, so it's going to be quite a while to get things sorted exactly as they need to be. Eventually the Gadget legs will be in as an unlockable upgrade for Gadget. you'll be able to extend the timer of the copter so it sort of goes down less. Gadget umbrella is just there to stop you from sort of hurting yourself if you fall too far. The time needs sorting out on that, so hopefully I'll be able to get that sorted. And the screen when the battery runs out for it, that needs sorting as well. I think in the last video I did, it had more of a toon shady look to it. I got rid of that because it didn't look quite right for me. So it's now on sort of standard lighting, which I think looks better. So I hope you've enjoyed. Keep your eyes open for more updates in the future.